Welcome, Hoops fans, to another edition of WABA Whip Around with Q. I'm your host, as always, Rich Quinones. If you're joining us for the first time, this is a very fast-paced look at the weekend action in the WABA, including updates, recaps, and previews. Obviously, Week 3 is among us on this July 19th, 2025. We always encourage you guys as we start the show to get social with us. It's very important. Not only do you follow these teams on their social media, but it's the utmost importance that you follow them on their YouTube channels, respectively. It's very easy to do. All you need to do is go on the WABA website. You can go on IG. A lot of these teams will have their YouTube channel link as well. Definitely subscribe, get those subscription base and those numbers up so they can, in turn, put out some really good footage, content, and of course, game highlights and live game broadcasts as well. So we've got a couple games we want to spotlight. We want you to know a couple things going into this weekend. We'll have Q's top five. We'll run through the standings, the schedule as well. And as I mentioned, a player or two to spotlight on a very busy weekend in the WABA. And as I mentioned, you can always get social with me, IG and X at Rich Q on Q, TikTok, Rich Q on the mic. And of course, happy to be voice of the Louisiana Spice this season. All right, so three things to know. On this Saturday, the Aces and the Queens, Mississippi Queens, that is, both look to start the season 3-0. Hot starts for these two teams, respectively. We'll get into those teams in a moment. The Kaos need a little bit of an offensive spark. Greensboro is averaging just around 59 a clip per game. And how about Steel City's depth? That's going to be the key this weekend against Midwest Sound. Only dressing, I believe, 6 or 7 last week, but still coming away with the win. So congratulations to them. Also, you've got two games on the docket tomorrow: Virginia, Maryland, Savannah, and Augusta. So those are Sunday's contest. But I want to kind of highlight a couple games before we take a quick timeout. Game 1, South Subdivision 2, which is very intriguing if you think about this, because you've got the Queens, Mississippi Queens against the Angels, Mississippi against Atlanta. That's a 5 p.m. tip-off. That'll be at Paradise Gym, 4295 Hendricks Drive, Forest Park, Georgia. The Queens are 2-0. The Angels are 0-1. Mississippi, I've done both of their games to open up the season, both wins against Louisiana. They've done a tremendous job on the glass. We highlighted this last weekend. In 2 games, 174 total rebounds. They've got the length, they've got the height, they've got the scoring. Ariel Wilson has averaged over 30 in 2 games. 5'5" guard, is extremely dynamic scorer. All you need to do is go back and watch her film in college. Not only does she have the handle, she's decisive. She can put the ball on the floor. She's physical. She can knock down threes. She started her career at McLaren High School, 4-time MVP, earned all district, all region, all state, made history as the first Dandy Dozen selection in school's history. And then her college career, Belhaven U, she averaged nearly 20 a clip. And the awards and accolades include SSAC Fresh of the Year, Newcomer of the Year, All Freshman Team, 2-time first team. She transfers over to West Alabama. She keeps it going. She's a phenomenal player. But the scary part of the Queens, to me, is their balanced attack, right? Aja Williams was named Player of the Week last week, and she lit up the Spice to the tune of 39 points in that Week 2 win. She added 14 rebounds, 5 assists in a 30-plus point win. Bree Blunt has quietly put together a nice season through 2 games, playing both ends of the floor. And I think if you're Atlanta, that comes in as the prohibit underdog in this one. I would say anywhere from about 10 to 15-point dog. They can't make this a track meet. Listen, that's where the Queens really will hurt you. I mean, look, you can't allow them to get out and run. Now, you want the guards to push the ball across that timeline within the 7 seconds quickly, but be patient with your offensive sets. And I think where they might have a shot to keep this close and competitive is the bigs. You got Abby Bywood, a rookie, who's a 6 center, veteran, Jasmine Cummington, 11-year pro, played overseas. She stands at 6'2". Those can body up Frazier and Womack, who are both 6'1", well, I should say 6'1", 6'2", respectively. Also look for Atlanta and the guard play that I mentioned. Taki Johnson play off the ball as well. 5'7" guard from Chicago, big-time scorer. We know about her scoring prowess, sharpshooter, all-around versatility on the court. Had a decorated standout career at Harlan High School. Earned all city honors, all state honors, all conference honors, and she played college ball at Johnson County Community College as well. Arkansas Tech U, Robert Morris U, a little well-traveled, play overseas, hitting anyone on the floor. And I think if you are Atlanta, you have to hold the Queens to under 90 points. If the Queens going to win and go to 3-0, they will have full command early on of the South Subdivision 2. How about Subdivision 1 action today? The Raleigh Aces versus the Winston-Salem Lady Warcats. It's a 2 p.m. tip-off, Winston-Salem Christian School. We know about the Aces. Look, they come in. They are a very talented team. The Lady Warcats are 1-1. If they can get this win today, that would be a nice win to give them the momentum and confidence builder. So this is what we call a measuring stick, if you will, for the Warcats. They have to put together a complete game. You go back to last week and they raced out to that 16-point lead, 25-9 against the Kaos after one quarter. Then they had some defensive lapses, some turnovers in the second, pretty much no-showed in the third, to be quite honest. They were outscored 22-7. A couple players got in foul trouble, but they hung on for the win, a gut check win, which shows, okay, we can figure out how to close 70-65, but they made it way too hard on themselves. They need a complete effort. I like the roster, though. Charity Hines had 14. Anika Jones had 18. Sierra York added 11. They like to go in and out and in again, and they are a pretty decent shooting team from about 12, 13 feet and in. Those three combined to shoot 48%, let's call it 50% from the floor. 3-point shooting, that's a little bit of an area of concern if they need to shoot their way back into a contest, just 4 of 19 from beyond the arc. Player to watch here is Jones. 8 attempts from the floor first game, 15 in the second game. Start to lean on her a little more offensively. This is a Shelby High School product back in 2009, 2012, all conference. Had a very nice standout career as well. I believe JUCO Community College ball. I believe it was Catawba Community College back in 2012 to 14. First All-American, all conference, also player of the year, CIAA champ 2017, Johnson C. Smith University. And she's got that pro experience with Carolina, also with Atlanta. Now we know how good the Aces are, very deep, can shoot. They love this type of tempo. They can press as well. Amani Watkins, player of the week, respectively 33 points, 5 boards, 5 steals in that 155-57 route over Savannah. So the depth is very scary. And what is really scary is kind of when you go past the usual suspects, whether it's Quick, Gamble, Watkins, you look at Drummond, 23 last week, Grace Hunter. That's a player that I'm high on. She scored 24. She's 5'10". She can stretch the floor. She's a smart player, very efficient from the floor as well. 14 of 32 on the season, including 9 of 16 from beyond the arc. We like to call that a little 3-point shooting specialist. I also saw On Point on the schedule today, slated to take on Kalamazoo, which would be the Blazers' first game of 2025. All right, so that's a couple games that we kind of documented. We wanted to highlight. As always, we want to remind you to get social with the WABA on IG at Women's WABA as well. Very easy to do, the YouTube channel link. We always post it on the show notes because we want you guys to check out the description as well. Of course, we love that you view the show and the content, and we appreciate it. But we love for you guys to just subscribe to those YouTube channels, respectively. And again, this is the WABA Whip Around with Q. I'm your host, Rich Quinones. A very fast-paced look at the weekend action. Full slate today, a couple games on the docket tomorrow. What we'll do is we will take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll kind of run through the rest of the schedule. We'll go through the standings, and then we will certainly close it out with Q's top 5, which, to be honest, not a lot of movement because we haven't even had these games yet in week 3. So what we'll do is, again, take a quick timeout, keep it locked in on this Saturday, where I am on the East Coast for the teams traveling. Please be safe, be sound, give yourself a little time to get to where you need to go. And when we come back on the other side, we'll continue with the WABA Whip Around with Q. All right, welcome back, everyone, to WABA Whip Around with Q. I am your host, Rich Quinones, on X and IG at Rich Q on Q, TikTok, Rich Q on the mic. Check out my YouTube channel as well at Rich Quinones, and please follow Louisiana Spice, respectively, on IG and YouTube, and all the teams. So we went through kind of what to know on a week 3. We always like to pinpoint, highlight a couple games. Let me give you the full gamut. I mentioned Steel City Queens against Midwest Sound. That is a 4 p.m. tip-off. Roadrunners and the Monarchs are, I would say, about an hour away from tip-off. Maryland showed they're a pretty physical team. We kind of documented the Aces and the Warcats. The Kaos, I'm still waiting for these guys to really break through. I think this lineup, I think you have a good roster on this squad. They've just had some really tough losses, and I know it could be very frustrating, especially when you lose some games early on. It can be very disheartening. But Burrell, Carter, Clark, Houston, Jones, Lewis, Moore, Brown, big player, big time player from Montreal College. They've got the horses. They've got the horses. These girls can flat out play. They just need to learn how to close, and they need a little more of a spark offensively. They just need a little more consistency with their offense. And I think once they find that, they're going to have an opportunity to start to hit their groove a little bit. You've got the Angels and the Queens. Queens looking to really be the surprise start of the season, on point against Kalamazoo. Virginia, who had that big win on the road, down 20 to open up the season. They have their home opener tomorrow, 7 p.m. Late start. You love that, 7 p.m. tip-off on a Sunday. Why not? Against Maryland. And then Savannah against Augusta. Do want to make a point. The Spice and the Grizz game, because of travel logistics, that game has been postponed. Again, kind of, we call it to be determined, to be announced, if there's going to be a rescheduling of the game going forward. All right, another timeout. When we come back on the other side, we'll go through the standings, and then, of course, we'll go through Q's top 5 to close the show on this Saturday edition of the WABA Whip Around. Keep it locked in. We'll come back on the other side. All right, welcome back, everyone. So that's our third timeout. We burned through the timeouts pretty fast, as we like to do. This is the WABA Whip Around with Q. Rich Quinones here. A fast-paced look at the weekend action in the WABA. Updates, recaps, and preview. So we went through the schedule. Let's get you caught up to speed on the standings as well. Entering week 3, mind you, Lady Wolves right now, 1-0. Steel City Queens, 1-0. Those are the 2 top teams, along with Virginia in the North Lower. Richmond 1-0, DC 0-1, Maryland 0-1. Then you go to South, Subdivision 1, Aces 2-0, Lady Cougars 1-0, Salem Lady Warcats 1-1. The Kaos 0-3 could change today. Subdivision 2, if the Queens get this win this afternoon, now you're talking 3-0. They put a lot of pressure on the rest of those teams in the Subdivision 2. Augusta 1-0, Atlanta 0-1, Savannah 0-1. The Spice still in search of their first win of the season, rounding out the division at 0-2. Midwest, West Michigan Elite Stars 1-0, on point 1-1. Kalamazoo again today will be their first game, and Midwest Sound 0-2. All right, so as far as the top 5, really nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. Now, if the Aces were to lose today and the Queens would win, then you can make the case, okay, who's going to be the top team right now? But as it stands, entering week 3, Aces 2-0, Queens 2-0, Lady Cougars 1-0, Steel City 1-0, Augusta 1-0. And they, as it stands right now on July 19th, they are part of your Q's top 5. All right, just a reminder, as always, we will recap all of this weekend's actions. We will fire off a new show either Monday and or Wednesday. We're also planning to have some players jump on the show, so we want to give you a little more insight and backstory with a little context regarding some of these players and their journey, and kind of shine a spotlight on them. But as always, you guys can get social with me on IG at RichQ on Q, on X at RichQ on Q. Please also subscribe to my YouTube channel at Rich Quinones, and of course TikTok Rich Q on the mic. We like to post a lot of clips, and as we started the show, we'll kind of round out the show by reminding you guys this is the 9th season of the WABA. There is a substantial amount of talent in this league, and these team market owners, these GMs, these head coaches, they've put a lot of time, they invested a lot of time, a lot of resources into putting out a competitive and successful product. And of course, the players, they're the heartbeat, the lifeblood, if you will, blood, sweat, and tears of this league. And all I ask is you support them. And that starts by not only going to the games, following them on social media, subscribing to the YouTube channels. Even if you're a fan from afar, let them know that you are certainly cheering them on, because a lot of these girls, they have an opportunity to take it to the next level. Not only on the court, but also off the court in life. And that's at the end of the day, that's what's paramount. So with that being said, we're going to close it out on another edition of WABA Whip Around. If you guys also get a chance, Monday to Friday, you can hear me again on my YouTube channel, live 4 to 6 Eastern time with Middays with Q, where we have a 2-hour, you talk about a phonetical pace of sports talk. Definitely check it out. And you can follow that on my YouTube channel at Rich Q on Q. So as we always say, for the teams traveling this weekend, please be safe, be sound. Hopefully the games are all competitive, and we will spotlight a couple more players. Who knows who's going to jump out to player of the game, who's going to have the big shot, who's going to have the big run. You know, the winless team's going to win. Maybe the undefeated team stub their toe, or they continue with their hot streak, a la the Queens, and of course the Kaos. We appreciate everyone been tuning in to this week's edition of WABA Whip Around with Q. As I mentioned, this has been and will always be a very fast-paced show. Takes a look at what's going on in the WABA. And as we mentioned one more time, get social with the WABA, Women's ABA on IG at Women's ABA as well on the YouTube channel. All right, so best of luck to all the teams. As always, I am Rich Quinones. We will be back in the saddle on Monday, Tuesday, dropping a new edition of WABA Whip Around. Also, hopefully the Spice will be back in action next week, and so I'll be behind the microphone for that. But you can always catch me Monday to Friday, Middays with Q on my YouTube channel, as well as TriX57. Everyone have a good sports Saturday and enjoy the games, and we will certainly talk to you next time courtside.